here, flip2freedom.com. Hope you're doing well. All right, in this video, I want to talk about faith and business and how they kind of intersect, how faith impacts your decisions, and my perspective on this particular subject. So let's get into it.
I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my.
All right, so got a question recently about my perspective on how faith impacts business, how that intertwines, and just my perspective and thoughts on this particular subject. So I'm actually excited to do this. I've never done a video like this, and I've actually looked online. I really haven't found a lot of videos on this particular subject, which I think is incredibly important because as an entrepreneur, we make decisions, and having faith is impacting that decision in a big way. So I always like to look at and kind of define things and see what the meaning of it is. So the word faith means complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So for me, when it comes to faith, I'm a born-again Christian. I believe in God, and I believe Jesus Christ died for my sins, and I have 100% confidence and faith in him as someone in my life. I was born and raised Christian. I went to a Christian church, currently go to church now. So how does that impact? And I'm not here to persuade you in my beliefs and thoughts. I'm just giving my perspective on how that faith impacts business in my life. So essentially, when it comes and you look at faith, and if you have complete faith and confidence in someone, the question is confidence in what? And it comes to decisions in what we do, and decisions we make, and relying on someone as a partner. So I rely on God as my partner in my business. I literally, anytime there's a situation, an event, a circumstance, I always involve God in the decision making of any big decisions, even small decisions. When it comes to that, I even prayed before I even did this video to bring him into this video because he can speak through me a lot better than I can speak myself. So the bottom line is that in life and in business, as an entrepreneur, we're always faced with certain circumstances, things that happen in our life, right? Good things, bad things, because we live in a fallen world. And because we live in a fallen world and we're operating in a fallen world, that there are things that happen, circumstances, good or bad, that happen in our life. Now, I was at church one day and the pastor asked a question. He said, internally, if you were going to define your internal world, would you define it as a placid lake, very placid lake, or would you define it as a babbling brook, or would you define it as a raging, ocean, right? How would you define it? And that's your internal world. Are you at peace in the internal world? Now, because what happens is circumstances on the exterior tend to impact people on the interior, on your actual peace, your calm, your poise, and that impacts your decisions. If you have turmoil in the inside and chaos in the inside, well, guess what? You're going to make chaotic decisions on the outside. So if we bring God in as a partner, and having God in my life has allowed me to go from this turmoil, chaos, this erratic interior of this constant uneasy and anxiety and stress and worry to poise, no matter what is going on in my life. I don't care whatever the circumstances. Now, I've been through a lot of crazy thing and lawsuits and crazy people and this and haters and all this type of stuff. You know what? it's part of, it's a circumstance, but it does not destroy my peace, right? Because I put it in God's hands. And the Bible says, cast the burden, or, you can, I don't know the exact verse on there, but, God can take the yoke, which is the yoke is a big thing that goes on the cows and stuff when they're moving stuff around. So he basically take that burden or that yoke off you. And what happens is if you cast that burden, you just have 100% confidence, 100% faith, 100% trust that he can handle it better than we can, that it gives you internal peace and internal poise, right? And I don't care what the situation, and I've been through a lot of crazy, chaotic situations, and there's been times I have had 100% confidence and trust in him, and times I haven't had 100% confidence and trust in him, and I worried about everything and stressed about everything, and I projected all the negative things that could happen, and whoa, what did this, and what about that, and what about this, and what about that, right? But then guess what? Once I really started focusing on trusting him with 100% faith in every decision. And I can tell you, he has never, ever, as a partner, let me down, ever has he ever let me down. And not saying that everything has been perfect. Things have been business. There's a lot of tough things and a lot of tough decisions when it comes to business. So the question becomes like, how does he impact faith decisions? Well, and it's not like a, blind faith. Well, and it is blind faith, but it's blind faith in a way that kind of leads you. I'll give an example. So, when we need to hire somebody, I always pray about it and put it in God's hands. And I ask him, I say, Lord, can you please line up the right person for us? And amazingly enough, he always lines up the right person. And it might not be in the way that I thought it was going to be, or the avenue that I thought it was going to come, but it's always maybe different, and it's always better. So Gia, for an example, Gia has been with me for now 5, almost going on 6 years now. And she came from that situation and has been an integral part to the business. When we pivoted to go national in 2019, I needed to find a COO that could help me run the company, build the operation. And guess what? Said a prayer, put in God's hands, and just let go and just operated as normal, kept an eye out. We're, talking to people, open. And all of a sudden Josh comes up, and he was the perfect person for the position. And he balances me out in a unique way. He has different unique abilities better than I do. And I have different unique abilities better than he does. And it's a perfect match, and we can operate the company in a successful manner. The bottom line is that if you have 100% faith and trust, then what happens is that it takes the internal, turmoil and casts that burden off, and enables you to operate forward with trust, knowing that you have somebody, on your side. It's almost like, someone in your boat, someone that is, you might be doing the work and pulling the energy and moving forward, but someone's guiding that boat. Someone has the oar and is guiding you in the right direction. And he's always guided me in the right direction, even going national. In 2019, October of 2019, I had, was praying. I was like, what, the cost per lead was high. And I was like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, go national, right? Got to go national. I just had this thing, got to go national. So guess what? We decided to go national. My entire team fought me. We changed softwares. We actually lost people. People quit. We had a handful of people quit in the organization, and people fought me on it. We can't do that. This is what we do. We're better in person. We're better closing deals in person. We can't do this. No, and this fight, right? And I was like, guys, we're going national. Here's where we're going. I just know where we got to go in 2019. right? So guess what? We went national in 2019, late October, November, December 2019, January we went, and we're getting all of our operational stuff. We're generating leads nationally. We were making offers. We signed 40 deals in January of 2020, and we closed on one and made $3,700 because we had no clue what we were doing. And guess what? I lost more people that quit, and then COVID hit. And guess what? That decision wasn't my decision, but it was brilliant because all the wholesalers that operated had to go in people's houses and get contracts and operate in that manner. We did everything over the phone. And we operated and we found a way and we got better and we got really good. And that's why I hired Josh during that situation. The week that the US closed down for COVID, I hired Josh. And we moved forward, well over a six-figure salary, and got him up and going, got him started. I trained him over Zoom because we weren't in the office anymore because the country was shut down. But everyone that quit wanted their jobs back because they got in situations where they couldn't operate anymore. So it wasn't me, it was God guiding me and directing me, and it was the best decision ever in a different manner that I thought it was going to be, but everything worked out perfectly. It's interesting. My son-in-law, my future son-in-law, he's actually marrying my daughter this October, worked with me for years, and we had him in a sales role. And he was just floundering. He was doing terrible, right? He was just not a salesperson. He was just not excited about what he was doing. And then one day I was actually going to fire him because I was like at my wit's end. He was unmotivated. He was coming in late, didn't want to be here and stuff. So it was just a bad situation, bad thing for the whole family, bad thing. I was like, maybe he just go on and move on, to some other job. So he's not here and it's not disrupting the family and he can find something he loves to do. So I had an inclination and obviously prayed about it. And I was like, I should give him a Kolbe A index test. Now, if you don't know what a Kolbe A index test is, I definitely recommend looking at it and definitely having your, before you hire someone, take it. So I gave him a Kolbe A index test. Now, the Kolbe A index test for someone that's in sales, they have to be a high quick start, right? So quick start is for someone, you don't need a lot of information to take action. You just take action quickly, right? And you learn as you go. And that's the best type of salesperson. They excel in what we do in the sales, and I put him in sales. And he took it, and there's a fact find where you need a ton of information to take action. And there's follow through, meaning you can't move on to the next thing until the first thing's done. So what happens is his score on Kolbe test, he had like a 1 on a quick start where he learns as he goes, and he had a 9 on a fact find, meaning he needed tons of information to take action. And he was a 9 on a follow through, meaning he does not go on to the next thing until he completes it and it's completed thoroughly. So perfect position for a CFO, perfect position for someone who wants to manage all the books, someone that wants to manage our P&Ls, who creates all our spreadsheets and our numbers. Perfect position. Now, I couldn't even thought about it, but you know what I did? I prayed about it. I put it and I had 100% faith and trust. It wasn't my idea. I was literally ready to fire him. And now he's an integral part of the business. And I make more educated business decisions today, and all the dashboards and KPIs and numbers we track right now are a result of that. And now it's become better. Now, he loves his position. He loves what he's doing. He's thriving. He's making more money than ever thought he could ever make. And he's doing absolutely incredible just because a little faith and a little trust and having God as my CEO partner in the business that I could say, what do you think of this? And guess what? It lays it out. And I have story after story after story after, but Chelsea's worked with me for almost 10 years now, for actually 10 years now. Same exact thing with her. Had her in the wrong position, prayed about it, put her in the right position. Now she's been thriving and loves what she does. She gets to work from home. She works with all the students and everything like that. The exact same thing. Lisa, right? She's my sister-in-law, came from Disney. I needed an event manager. And I was looking all over for event manager. Met this person, this person, this person. All of a sudden, Disney laid her off at the perfect time. It couldn't be any more perfect. Laid her off at the perfect time. That as that we were ramping up our business, when it came to our mastermind, and then boom, from that. And there is, I mean, I've had software projects that came at a instant flash of an idea that literally changed the way marketing was done. This was like 5 years ago. Created millions and millions of dollars in revenue and generated tons of leads for my real estate wholesaling business. And we've done tons of deals off it just because of one flash of one idea for a software deal that turned out to be absolutely amazing. So here's the bottom line. In the Bible, in Joshua, there is a specific section in there where they talk about faith and how the faith works. And this is the best way to explain faith and how I use faith, or not really use faith, or have faith in business and how I operate it. And in the book of Joshua, Joshua took over for Moses after he died, and then God actually, made Joshua the leader of the Israelites, and they were going to take the Israelites into the promised lands. Now, obviously, they escaped from Egypt, and they now have been roaming in the desert for 40 years. And now Moses had passed away. Joshua's now the head of the Israelites, and God basically anointed him the leader of the Israelites to take them into the promised land. The problem is that the Jordan River was between them and the promised land. And they had all these Israelites, and they're standing at the edge of this Jordan River. And Joshua's up on the hill, and God said, okay, he's going to make you. And Joshua's actually arguing with God because he didn't think he had what it took to become a leader of the Israelites to lead him in. He was doubting his own abilities. He didn't think he was good enough. He didn't think he could do it. And God's like, yes, you can do it. So he's arguing with God, seeing if he can. It was like a lot of things that we do, right? We think you have doubt and fear of our own abilities and we can do it or not. Anyways, the bottom line is that they're sitting at the edge of the Jordan. And at the time of the year, the Jordan is overflowing, right? And it's like overflowing with, just water. And it's just like, whether, I don't know what rains or whatever came in, but it's just, there's tons of water just flowing down this river. And picture this. So Joshua's up on the hill and he yells down, that God told them to essentially step in to the river of Jordan, right? Jordan River. And so now the Israelite leaders are at the edge of this, this river. The water's just flushing by. And he says, step into the river. Now, why would God tell Joshua to tell the Israelite leaders to step into the river and get your feet wet? Why would they do that? Now, we got this. Now, think about this. If they step in and they get their feet wet, they're dead. Why? Because the river's going to basically sweep them away. So the logical mind says, this is impossible. I'm going to die. This is not realistic. There's no way. Right? But what they did is they had 100% faith and trust in Joshua, who is directed by God, and they sat on the edge of the Jordan River, and they put their foot out, and they stepped in the water, and all of a sudden, boom, a great wind came and pushed the water up on the side, and it created this clear, open path directly to the promised land. Now, just think about that for a second. What would you do in that? What would I do? I'd be afraid. I'd be like, I can't do it. There's no way I'm going to step in the water. The thing's going to take me away. And I'd walk away and turn around, right? That's probably what I would do. What would you do? You sit there, you have that, and you're sitting and this guy says, yeah, God says, go just step in this raging river and get your feet wet. You probably just stick your tiptoe in, right? Is that right? Stick it in. That's probably what I do too. The bottom line is this, is that they had to take action in faith for the miracle to work and guess what? To get to the promised land. So you might been in the situation right now where you want to get to your promised land. You want to get to your dreams and the things you want to accomplish, but maybe you're not taking action in faith. I don't know. There's been lots and lots and lots of time in my life where I've taken no action in faith because I was afraid. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think it was logical. It didn't make sense. Why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. And I questioned God. And there's been lots of things in my life over the years that did not come to pass because of my lack of faith and my doubt. Yeah. And all I'm saying is this, is that sometimes in life, and we know it in our hearts, we are put in a position where we have to make a decision of blind faith, where it doesn't make sense, it's not logical, but there's something inside that we're going, okay. And here's the thing. If you're a raging river inside, you're not going to hear that voice. If you're a babbling brook inside, you're not going to hear that voice. But if you're placid inside, like the placid lake, you're going to hear that voice. And that voice is going to talk to you, and they're going to say, take that step. They're going to say, take that step, take that next thing, go this direction, go this way, do this thing. And you'll be amazed because it's not going to make sense. There is no logic behind it. You might try to rationalize this doesn't make, but you learn to listen to the voice with 100% trust and faith, knowing that has never let you down. And you take that step. And guess what? It is better than you've ever thought. It's more amazing than you ever thought possible. And you're like, wow. And see, you know why God does that? So you give him the glory. You give him the glory. You know why? Because there is no way it could have turned out like that if you would have done it, or if someone else would have done it. It turned out perfectly, even better than you thought, because you released, you had 100% faith, you listened, you took fearless steps, and it turned out better than you thought. And guess what? The only place you can point, the only place is to him. It's the only place. And see, if you operate like that, is that it's amazing. It's amazing in this life. It's absolutely amazing. And like I said, sometimes things aren't perfect, and things don't make sense. And you might be in a situation where you're just waiting, and you're in this waiting period, and you don't really understand why. It will all unfold perfectly for you if you have faith, right? Everything's working out. God is working everything out in your favor. You just got to trust and have faith in that. And that's what I believe. And that's my perspective. That's how I operate it in my business. I bring him into everything I do, right? And guess what? I don't really understand it at certain times. Things aren't always perfectly done, that in my way that I would do it, or maybe I'm waiting on certain things that I need to wait on just because. But it always, when I look back, ends up exactly the way it should be. And it's I'm telling you, it operates. Everything operates a lot smoother than on my own accord. So that's my perspective of this. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Please share this video if you would. And just consider the fact, you know, for your own self and what you believe and how you operate and what you do, what it could make an impact in your life in a positive way, and whatever you believe in, whatever you have faith in, because I know it's made a massive impact in my life. So hope that helps. Have an incredible day. God bless.
I can't take no loss, yeah. I don't even know what it costs, yeah. I hit the ground and it go off, yeah. Hit the ground and it go off, yeah, yeah. Run it, ooh. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah.